What'd you make of the Carlos Rodon news? I know that up to this point, he sort of got it going a little bit, but we know that he started the year with some injury concerns. Just pulling up his stats real quick. But
Yeah.
what was your reaction to that news with Rodon?
Yeah, definitely a lot of concern because now he's had two elbow issues in a pretty short span here. I mean, he obviously had the offseason, I believe the loose body surgery to remove from his elbow. And now he pitches for about 2, 3 months, I guess, because he missed, a pretty large chunk of the beginning of the season. And now he has inflammation again in his elbow. So
Yeah.
you start to worry, is he really a guy that you can rely on in the postseason? And you feel good about the top of the rotation with your Max Frieds and your Garrett Coles and obviously the All-Star Cam Schlittler, and that's a really strong place to be. But then you look at the rest of the rotation and it's been a little iffy. I mean, Rodon, a lot of injury issues. And obviously Will Warren and Weathers have had their struggles. So I think the Rodon news is concerning. And I wonder, how did the Yankees view him as they get to this deadline? Obviously, starting pitcher is not at the top of their needs, but would the Yankees be willing to go out and make a starting pitching addition in
Hmm.
order to maybe move Rodon into a bullpen role? I'm not sure what the Yankees are going to do in that spot, but I don't think you can sit here and say on July 5th, Carlos Rodon is definitely a guy that you could trust in the postseason. He has not been great in the postseason in his time with the Yankees, and he's had two major injuries now. I mean, elbow
Yeah.
issues are not good. You don't want to have elbow issues as a starting pitcher. It goes without saying. So I'm a little worried about Rodon just from a health perspective. He really hasn't pitched a lot this year. And can you rely on him to give you 3, 4 starts in October? I'm not sure you can.
Yeah, I think also it's more of a problem now that Freed is out until August. As we know, he threw it to some live batters. I think it was earlier in the week, threw about 30 pitches, and I'm a bit of a doubter as well when it comes to Carlos Rodon in the postseason. But I have tried to pay respect to him when it comes to the amount of innings that he's thrown, some of the good outings that he will give the Yankees during the regular season. I know postseason is a little bit of a question mark. I think just from the standpoint of like the Yankees getting through the rest of the summer, that's the thing that scares me if they want to compete for the division, and you need Rodon. We know the Scooble rumors were something of I don't know of how much significance, but it wouldn't with how the Yankee and thinking about the two injuries now where you have Rodon, you have Max Fried, then also you have just Garrett Cole trying to get himself back, and he did look good on Friday. Also keeping in mind with you have Weathers. You want to see how many innings he can go. He's had an injury history that we know that has kept him out. And then Cam Schlittler, even though Cam Schlittler has been a gangster, has been really good, and we know that he is potentially in line to win the Cy Young. He is now going to throw more innings than he ever has. Like that's going to be something just under the radar to think about. So when you're seeing the Rodon injury, just from the standpoint of having good quality starters, that's something that concerns me. So moving into the deadline, it wouldn't really shock me if they tried to get some more depth because like Ryan Yarbrough is not going to be the kind of quality starter that you really want to be throwing out there if you're having other injury troubles. Like he'll
No,
piece it together a
no.
little bit, but that's where I say with this Rodon news, seeing how it progresses. Hopefully, it's just good. Hopefully, they get back Max Fried. But like, is that a then backup option where they have to say, okay, maybe we do need a starter? It may not be to the biggest level like a Scooble, but they may be more aggressive than we thought they would be when it comes to the rotation. Is I think the takeaway for me there.
Yeah, it's a real puzzle, the entire pitching situation, because we've talked about the bullpen. The bullpen, we don't know who's going to be in that circle of trust come the postseason.
Hmm.
And now you look at all these injuries. So you've got to make a decision like, okay, is Ryan Weathers, like let's say you want to put Ryan Weathers in the bullpen. That makes total sense in like a perfect world. The problem is it's not a perfect world. You have multiple starters out. You need to get through the summer. You need to get through the rest of this season.
Hmm.
And Ryan Weathers is one of your healthy starting pitchers. So he's got to go out there every fifth day because you don't have enough starters. Right now
Yeah.
they're throwing, on Saturday, I know it was a spot start, but they threw Brendan Beck, and that ended up losing you a game because he was terrible, and it's not
Hmm.
his fault. But it's a situation of you've got to figure out how every puzzle piece fits here.
Yeah.
And it's would really help, I think, if the Yankees had maybe another starter for depth, because then you could start to make those moves. Like, okay, we're going to move Will Warren into the bullpen, or oh, we're going to move Ryan Weathers into the bullpen. Because the last thing I want, Rob, is to get to the postseason and guys are in roles that they have not been in the entire season. We
Hmm.
saw this in the 2020 postseason against the Tampa Bay Rays, where the Yankees were like, okay, J Happ's going to piggyback Debbie Garcia. Well, J Happ had never done that in his life. And that was a real problem, because you want guys to practice their roles at some point during the regular season. That's a big part of what the regular season is. It's gathering information for the postseason.
Yeah.
And if Ryan Weathers is part of this plan, then you've got to get him in the bullpen. I understand why you can't do that, but this speaks to the issues that the Yankees are dealing with right now with their pitching. So it's going to be interesting to see how all the pieces fit together.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm hoping the Rodon stays healthy because they're gonna need a lot of starters. They're gonna need a lot of them to get through.